It's a nothing burger.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, y'all are trying to make the listen.
You don't get to have it both ways.
No,
you know, you can't say it's a joke and so but it's serious and let's do round the clock media coverage when it's a comedian. But when the president of the United States says it, no, we'll give him a free pass.
You know what's crazy? I want you to take the president of the United States to task. You do that, and I want you to do that as well. Take him to task and say that his comments were inappropriate. Actually, I want you to get a warm, cozy blanket and say it reminds you of 2016 when Hillary Clinton called us deplorables, right?
That's happening.
And then what I'm going to tell you is the fact that Kamala Harris got on stage tonight in front of 100,000 people and talked about the America that she wanted. I'm going to tell you about the fact that Kamala Harris said that she's going out on the campaign trail with people like Liz Cheney, that she has Bush's campaigning for, that she's going to put a Republican in her cabinet, that there is nobody on God's green earth that can look you directly in the face with any level of intellectual honesty and tell you that the America that Kamala Harris wants versus the America that Donald Trump wants is the exact same. And so, yes, listen, you want to talk about foot and mouth disease? That's Joe Biden. Do we want him on a campaign trail? You know, the sources that we have, we actually do want him on a campaign trail, contrary to popular belief, because he still does well.
I will say, though, Bakari,
demographics.
he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere, like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland, like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona, like he was last week. He's best with union folks, as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Yeah. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
It's not true. Already litigated it in Kamala's speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
no, but you don't just get to say
that. Why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that. We're going to talk about other.
I thought he was going to be here for a couple of segments. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Fair enough. If we want to talk about who's running with various candidates and what they're saying, where's Mike Pence? Where's Nikki Haley? Where's every single Republican living vice president and president? They're not speaking for Donald Trump.
Except for Sarah Palin.
You got me there.
Haley's for Trump.
Haley is not on the trail.
Haley's
not on the trail. They haven't spoken since June, so she might be.
She spoke at our convention.
I think
she has not been there. She has not been on the trail. They haven't spoken since June.
She spoke at our convention.
I think Kamala Harris is running a young and modern and fresh campaign. It is very rare to be the vice president of a president running while he is still president. That does not happen a lot. So she has to walk a very fine line. And I think the thing is that she has to separate herself from the Biden-Harris campaign to show us what the Harris-Walz campaign would look like. So I think it makes sense.
It's more of the same. She couldn't even answer a simple question of what would you do differently. She stood at that. She stood there tonight in the ellipse and said, I will be honest with you. I will never lie, and I will say difficult things, but I can't tell you one mistake that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made. It's because she believes all of the horrible policies that they have done.
Have you ever had a boss? Have you ever had a boss? Did you ever work for anyone?
Yes, and I still do.
Okay, so hypothetically...
I was about to say I'm married, so I don't...
There we go.
Well, Kari and I agree.
So anyway, You have a boss. You're working with your boss. You're at a dinner. You might be going for another job. You're not going to insult your boss while you're at the table, right? She is still the vice president of the president of the United States. So if you ask me, hey, what has your boss done wrong at this company? You're not going to say, well, he's done this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. You're going to say, I think while I'm here at this company and I'm doing my job, that's her job as the vice president.
That is why
as
there's
the
only...
presidential candidate,
Isn't there an
she's going to
argument
speak
to be
differently.
made, though, that even from a strategic perspective, there's no harm necessarily in her saying, actually, I would do something differently.
There's no harm at all. You're exactly right.
The American
100%.
people might actually want to hear her say that.
100%.
But that, I mean,
But don't you think
yeah,
she
but that's
is?
that's also kind of blind to say, because what you're discounting is the fact that this individual actually got 84 million votes. What you're actually discounting is the fact that in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, there are demographics, particularly in the blue wall states, where he does extremely well.
But do you think
What's
that
his
even
approval
all, even
Actually, it's at
but do you
48,
think that
49%.
even
No,
the
39.
people-
It's
Oh,
39.
Bakari.
Gallup has it
Oh,
at 39.
Lord have mercy.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's Real Clear Politics
do you
averages
think that
at
even the
39.
people who voted for
That's the
Joe
average. You're talking
Biden
about now.
believe that he did everything right?
No. I don't think
then
Barack
that's my-
Obama did it.
What standard are we
that's
living
that's
with
a
that the
point is that
president did everything right?
respectfully,
Even
Abby,
the
that's an
people who-
insane argument to make, because I don't even think Barack Obama did everything
standard
right.
here-
I'm just
you-
saying,
she
no,
asked an important question.
what I'm saying is even the people who support Joe Biden, it sounds to me like you're suggesting that she can't distance herself from him because they all voted for him. But those people are not saying he's perfect either.
That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is that contrary to the belief around this table, there is value to Joe Biden. And I'm also articulating, because we can have a nuanced conversation, that although there is value to Joe Biden, we also have to realize that Kamala Harris did a great job articulating tonight what her presidency would look like versus Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is not running against Joe Biden to be president of the United States of America. She's running against Joe Biden, and it's a binary choice. You get hate, division, or you get Kamala Harris.
Or you get low gas prices, low grocery prices, a
Well,
secure
gas
border in a
prices
world
are-
that's
gas-
not in
gas
war, which
prices-
is the opposite of what you
Mark,
have right
CNN
now.
We did
reported
just
to-
talk about this.
CNN
Gas prices
did
are
just
gas prices
talk
are
about
They're actually going down.
radically
We
down,
literally
nationally
just
down,
And as soon
nationally
as they stop draining the SPR, they're going to go right back up
Well,
again.
look,
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
this is all a piece of a double standard that I think is being applied to Kamala Harris, left, right, and center. If you want to talk about people and their ability to acknowledge where things might have gone wrong or could have gone differently, I'd encourage you to name one time that Donald Trump has said, you know what, I got this wrong.
He said he could have hired better people in the first. He made some mistakes with
That's
some
because
hiring.
none of them
Because
endorsed
none of
him.
them will work with him, I
every
guess.
I worked with him. I'm there.
No, okay. So if your claim is that the only thing that he has acknowledged doing wrong is hiring John Kelly, Esper, Milley, and all the people who are
Respect.
She can't even say that.
No, but here's
Well,
what here's
again,
what?
but look at the reasons why he's saying that is because they have all said this man
So-
is a threat to the way
but
we as a
you-
country
you
function.
raise-
So
you-
sure,
you-
I guess if hiring people that are not loyal enough to you and too
But
loyal
here's
to
the one
country,
fundamental difference.
Fair play.
He has
Which is
a
what he
record
wants
that
to
people
change the second
remember.
time.
Two-thirds
They
of the
do.
American
All right,
people
Scott,
think our
you're-
country's
last
on the
word.
wrong track.
You're raising a correct question. The problem is that the most adjacent person to Harris is Biden, and he is the current president. And contrary to Bakari's new math, he does not have a 49% approval rating. There's a reason he's not the candidate. He has an approval rating for most of his term below 40%.
right
What's
now,
Trump's
Scott.
national approval rating?
Donald Trump's retrospective approval is now over 50%. So the reason, and I think Abby was
What is his
correct.
current national approval rating?
I really
Not
think
50%.
I think you're mired
it is.
down in
Look
the
at the
approval
polling.
ratings
His-
and the percentages.
Let me just
That's
get
not
you.
an- that's not an
I just
approval
want to
rating,
understand
Scott.
the gist of what you're
Scott,
saying.
that's not
But what
an-
you
that's not
said,
an
so
approval
the
rating.
reason what you said is correct. The reason you would separate yourself from the less popular person is because people clearly don't want it anymore, and she's not yet done that, which is, I think, the point you were raising.
And if I may make a point before we carry on, I think it would be great if she could run on what Biden has done, because what Biden has done is actually tremendous. And I think it is absolutely bananas that she has to even think of distancing herself from the Jobs and Infrastructure Act, from the CHIPS Act, from the PACT Act. We haven't done infrastructure. Why are you laughing? We
Please
haven't
keep
done
talking about the CHIPS Act. If you
Yeah,
look
no,
at the
because
polling on the
I-
issues,
I
Joe
don't care
Biden
about the
is
polling. I care
60%
about jobs that are
disapproved
happening in the
on
country. Oh
every
my God, I
single
can't even
major
speak.
issue.
Listen, Mark.
All right, leave.
There are things that have passed in this country that haven't been done in years. Infrastructure. We're going to start seeing things 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. People are going to say, in retrospect, holy heck, was Joe Biden a fantastic president? But right now, we have to pretend that he was some god-awful president when, honestly, he passed more major infrastructure bills, more things for guns, more things for the climate, more things for the veterans, and the Republicans voted against all of it.
And
so
what
to
is
say that we have to
immigration?
run away from him is absolutely crazy, and yet the propaganda works, and you guys keep banging on the same things, and you say he was terrible, and we're going to see in the future he wasn't terrible, he was fantastic. But she has to differentiate herself from him right now.